I play a guy named Gregory Hayes. He's sort of a mixture of a few of the Black Panther characters from that time, and I am the depot for the time travelers to get a missing link to their mission, essentially. But, yeah, the show is getting some great reviews. It looks amazing, and everybody on the show is really good. Really, really good at what they do. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing it. Well, we don't know right now. The latest news on Quarry is that they're going to put it out to Blu-ray. So to me, that says that there's some love for it. You know, definitely giving it some extra shine. But they're really slow to make decisions these days over there at the network. It was even delayed, and it did much better than they anticipated. So we'll see. I mean, it really deserves to live. And I say that from an audience member standpoint, and not just as one of the series regulars. It's a great show. Well done, executed. Yeah. Over 20 years, I've popped up a bunch of places, but that happens. Like, you think the guy, like, he blows up overnight, but it's not true. It's like they show him, when he's a baby face through the years on all these different in syndicated shows. But yeah, it's been a journey, and it was put to me. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon. And if you love it, then you're gonna stick with it. And once I was bit by the bug, that was it for me. Because it's about self mastery. So if you're interested in that, acting is a great place to explore yourself. Yeah. I've had some good roles come my way after a long time. Representation is everything. I give a big shout out to Robin Bluestone, my manager. I met her, and after that, things changed drastically. So it really does matter who you know. Yeah, I just wrapped a film with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Carpenter called Brawl In Cell Block 99. And yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. But that's going to be in 2017. But before that comes out, I completed a movie called Double Play, which is based on a novel called Doppelspiel, which is what's his name? Franz Arion Martinez, a really popular one. But Ernest Dickerson, he did it, he directed, and that comes out. We get to see the premiere of that in end of January. So I'm really excited about that. The cinematography, the setting, everything about that movie is just, it warrants, excitement. So I'm cool. I'm happy for that. The only one that's present day is Cell Block. Yeah. Everything has been in the past, the 70s specifically, 71, 72, 73. I even finished a film I just forgot called The Pretenders that James Franco is directing, and that's 1979. It's like I'm in the 70s hardcore. All of the roles really. With the exception of The Night Of, has been in the 70s over the past year and a half, yeah. That's just how the casting, how the cards, how everything, have gone. So, I mean, it's cool. I love it. I mean, I was born in the 70s, so, there's some nostalgia there. And I can draw some 70s power from that. But, yeah, whatever's clever. Yeah, I would love to play Mansa Musa in something. I would love the great Malian ruler. And, the time of Timbuktu and the old mystery schools back then, where the trans-Sahara, the trade routes. That's always is very fascinating to me, because all of the depictions that we see of people of color usually just begin at slavery, or within the framework of this current, like, American history. But there was just so much more that is unexplored. That's as rich as Ben-Hur, or as rich as the attempts that they've made, for Egyptian movies. So that right there would be super cool to experience firsthand, where there was Africa at its height, It's self-governing. I can imagine that would be a cool town to be in. Otherwise, I'm like, nah, I don't want to go back. You won't see me in George Washington's time. That's for sure. No, no. Like creatively, I feel like I'm a channel, a conduit. And I feel like that's true for everyone, but I really tapped into it because I mean I'm just super interested in all these different art forms, and I just had the balls to try them, and I want to get it done and I want to do it well, so that just leads to proficiency, and people take notice, and next thing you know, you're doing it for money, you know, and that's the old adage, right? Just do what you love, you know. I mean, the thing is, like, we've gotten so used to artists not saying anything, and that's the travesty. Whether I'm right or I'm wrong about any of it is less important than the fact that art is supposed to reflect life. You know what I mean? And we've gotten away from that, with the Kardashians and no knock to them because ultimately, everyone needs to eat, and if that's going to feed you, do it. But yeah, I have opinions. My creativity comes from a sensitivity to life, and if I'm sensitive to life, well, I'm going to be impressed by the things that are happening in the world. So yeah, and I've got ideas, I've got ideas, but I'm open, I'm flexible. The big banner for me is love. So whatever I do, it's from that standpoint. Yeah, I have like more music. I've done quite a bit in my life, but for whatever reason, it didn't go all the way. I'm doing a few things, a few avenues to get my music out more, get more music made. But yeah, that, and I'm continuing to write. I feel like there are programs, like there's a lot of programming on TV, but I'm inspired by like programs like Atlanta and Queen Sugar and Broad City to tell my own version, And as I said before, I started out as a writer, so that's becoming a little bit of a itch and an inspiration. But these are all things that will happen eventually. Do you know what I mean? Right now, I'm going to stick and stay with the course, what's in front of me, and acting is it. So I want to really, push the envelope and do my very best. Yeah, you're right. Like the internet changed everything. So like, we're streaming things, and people they're consuming at home way more. And so that changed everything. But I feel like, honestly, like my preference would be television, doing series arcs, because you can really go in and create a character and sort of put your chest brain to how you want that development to happen. The same thing goes for movies too. It's just a shorter period of time, whereas a series gives you some time to really like stretch it out and figure things out as you go, and really develop on it. So I love it all, man. I really do. Where movies would have been in preference before, television is the preference now, or series, because I can't even say television. Netflix is, technically not television. I just recently reconnected with my mentor, who was my college professor, Michael Adams, and he's a depth psychologist, and we was recently connected, and he really has influenced the way that I think about things, and helped me to keep an open mind, not just to the events of the world, but to the events of self, which is pivotal in everything that I do as an artist, is to be sensitive to the different movements and vibrations within myself, because that's where you draw inspiration from. So he's a major one. Yeah, like without it being some sort of figure that everyone knows, yeah, Professor Mike Adams. We'll give him the shout out. I started at stage. Yeah, I started. In fact, I didn't even think about television and film when I started, because basically I backed into acting. I went to the Negro Ensemble Company to be a writer, right? Because I was already in trajectory to go into business law, international banking. But I changed my mind. I came back to the city. I was going to write, dropped out of school, and I went down to this workshop. And I thought I was sitting in a writing workshop. And, lo and behold, everybody piled in. They started. It was a scene and monologue workshop, and I couldn't leave. So I had to watch all of these great performances, which was ultimately good. But I didn't know that the guy was going to pick me. So he was like, "Hey, new face, get up here and do something." And so I'm like, my mom was there. She says, "Just go up there and read a poem." So I go up and I read a poem. And they go, "That was amazing. You should get this play, get this monologue, come back." I was like, "But I'm a writer." He says, "We'll get it and come back." And I did, and the rest was history. But I was doing theater there. Like I did that monologue, and workshop class for a while. And then from there, they cast me in some little Christmas play. And then I went on to do some of the repertory work there. But I didn't even know. I was like, okay, well, when the theater was up, went back up to Harlem, continued cutting hair. I was a barber at the time. And I got a call on the payphone in the barbershop that Jeff Block from New York Undercover wanted to see me for an audition. At the time, that was like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? And so I go down and I see Jeff Block, and because I knew what New York Undercover is, but I don't know he got my number. The person from Negro Ensemble Company, Carol Conwhite, the director, she gave him my number after all this time. I hadn't spoken to her in 2 years. So that's how I got introduced to television and film. And the rest was history. I got booked on New York Undercover, and I, went on. Yeah, Negro Ensemble Company. Just to encapsulate, I give you the long run. But yeah, I did a bunch of theater at the Negro Ensemble Company, and then in and around that. And then the last piece I did that was really substantial, which took me to California, was a play called Pentecost by David Edgar, where I played a Mozambican refugee. And like 75% of my lines were in Russian. It was like a great challenge out at the Old Globe Theater. I miss it. The thing is, theater is too expensive to do. They don't pay you any money, You can really pay your bills, but you need to be here 12 hours a day. I'm like, so I'll do some in the future, but for now, I need to just work on the nest egg. Yeah, man, that is totally on the agenda. I would love to come do some theater there. Here in New York, I have to come back and do a splash as well. But it's definitely on the bucket list. It's great. I mean, it's London. It's one of the major cities. But it's like New York is becoming more like London in the sense that all the edges are a bit smoother. But that's what I remarked about London. It felt like New York, but way creamier. Smoother. Yeah. It's changed quite a bit since my time in LA. I was in LA for 13 years. Since then, Harlem is a whole nother world, man. I mean, especially from when I grew up. I walked through, because I spent some time here, like for the first time, some solid time, like months since I moved. And I'm like, wow, it's like another world. So crazy. But I love the rejuvenation in a lot of ways, I do. Yeah, man. Majorly, what I would say for all actors, artists, people, creatives, is to put the art first, try to get out of the way and focus on the quality and the craft itself. Everything else comes just by the nature of the energy that you put into being the best that you can be. Things are attracted to you, situations, circumstances that will support your efforts. Don't worry about what you think, let your audience tell you what you're doing. And and have fun. It's a journey, baby. We're never satisfied. I don't. Yeah. What is satisfaction? But the next bit of work. The next creation. So yeah, keep it in perspective is essential. Yeah. Well, I was about to say, well, yeah, I was like, I go to the gym. That's not very relaxing. I mean, it relaxes me. I do yoga. Um, I spend a lot of time. I meditate, man. I spend a good amount of time with myself. Creating various things, and that's very relaxing for me. You know, but yeah, you can rest when you're dead. I read comics, man. I did. I had the Marvel universes, and where they give you all of the classifications of all of the different mutants, man. I was into it. I even drew my own little comics and stuff like that. Everybody out is that we see in the Marvel movies were heroes of mine. It's just amazing to see how far it's come. It was so obscure back in the day, and now, I mean, Superman was the big thing, and then Batman. Batman was a big thing, but to really see these other characters come forward is like it's like a dream come true. Like my little kid is like, yeah. With Black Panther, I'm like, oh my god. It's unprecedented. So it's a good time. It's a good time. Yeah, man, the ones that I would be qualified to play that I really want to, I think they're taken. Um, I think there's maybe a few others, but I could play Blade, man. Like that would be cool. I put a different spin on it. Yeah, Blade's still in the running because Wesley's not going to do that anymore. At least I don't think so. But yeah, that'd be cool. Or maybe even Spawn. uh, You know. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anything's possible. But to put it plainly, to play a superhero is like the dream role. Yeah, it's the dream role. um, would you like to guess? Which is I'm super excited about because it's like for me it's a homecoming. I went away to LA to pursue my career, and I had to leave my home of New York. And then as things began to take off there, I wound up on a series about 42nd Street, which is one of my stomping grounds growing up. And I was there at the tail end of what the whole series is about, which is when they would still had the prostitution booths and the video arcades and the kung fu movie places and the shitty Chinese food and prostitutes everywhere. It was like it was crazy, but of course, Disney came in and that changed. So the Deuce is really close to my heart. That's James Franco and Maggie Gyllenhaal. I mean, they're both awesome. James, he has his own flavor, but I was watching one episode, 104, and I got to really see her show her stuff. Man, she is so nuanced and cool, and really a good person behind the camera as well. So yeah, the Deuce. Y'all guys look forward in 2017. It's going to be cool. Yeah. Yeah. I play Big Mike. That's my character's name. It was Big Mike. Yeah, it's cool, man. The arc is really interesting. He's like nobody I've ever played. I get to play some mysterious characters, and he is mysterious, but he's like multifaceted and he's quiet. So you see him revealed really slowly and surprisingly. It's like if you look at the facade, you won't expect a lot of the things that come out of him and the directions that they actually take the character. It shocked me. I was like, what? I can't tell you guys, but like it's really cool. you know, what they do from when he's introduced to where he goes by the end of the first season is a pretty cool arc, which I really enjoy being a part of. So yeah, and I get to meet some of my superheroes like Method Man, funny enough, right? Wu-Tang Clan, and Tariq from The Roots. He's in there as well. Some of my hip hop superheroes. So that was amazing as well.